Oh, this is called Heroism in Bessemer, Alabama. So yesterday, if you've been following my posts, my wife had been on the road since 11 a.m. when she was sent home from work because of the pretty tough snow going on. Now, secondly, by about, say, 9 o'clock or so, it was getting a bit too much for her. She was stuck up probably 5 minutes away, or 5 mile away, and she was getting pretty desperate. She hadn't been to the toilet since 11 a.m. There was, no real places you could go the way that she'd been travelling. Not even hiding in the bushes or pissing in a bottle. Um, so she didn't have any water. She only had some coffee lollies. Anyway, so I decided that I'd fill up a coffee thermos full of coffee, and I'll go up and be where she is. So I left the house. I wore my hiking boots first time I had them, and they got really good tread on them, which stopped me from sliding on the ice a lot of the time on the side of the road as I was walking up. As I passed the graveside up here, a couple pulled up in their car and they said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm just going to get my wife." And they said, "We'll go and take you there." Hop in the car, and I was holding my jerry can with petrol, or an empty jerry can. And I said, "No, no, no, I've got to go and see the wife." I just was focused, and I realised that, if they went to take me for a drive where I was going, I didn't even know the conditions, that if they had an accident in their car, it would have been bad for them doing something kind, and their car had been destroyed through an act of kindness, and I didn't have sort of $50 to spare, or whatever. So I declined that. Got to the service station. I gave the girl $5, and I told her that I'm going up to see my wife. She said, "Where's your car?" I said, "I don't have one." I said, "My wife, she's been on the road since 11 a.m. She's stuck up, up at Dollar General, and da 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 da." And there's so anyway, I went and filled up, and there was a police car there. The bloke was in there having his coffee. I'm sure he was on his coffee break. And I went to go, and another couple in another car said that, "Oh, the policeman stuck his head out and he was going to take you to your destination somewhere." So I rang up my wife and I told her that I'm here at service station, blah, blah, blah. I went back in, saw the bloke, he nodded his head. He was probably on his break, so he came out, had me jerry can, my little jerry can, 2-gallon thing. Put that in the back of his car, first time in the back of the police car. So he said, "Where are you going?" I told him up towards 150. We're in Bessemer, and this is a Bessemer policeman. So he had chains on his tyres, and we're plodding along, pop, 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 pop on the ice, and his car was spinning out and sliding and doing things, even though he was going pretty slow. I rang my wife, and they had just cleared the spot at up there at Dollar General warehouse here in Bessemer. So I said I'll meet her at the next Kangaroo station. So she pulled in there, and she pulled in at the same time as the police car got up, and the policeman said that none of us were prepared because the weather people stuffed up. And I said, "Yeah, none of us were." He did. He did. They did stuff up. They didn't even give us a warning that anything was shifting until it was too late. So anyway, I see her. I've got the coffee, a thermos. She's virtually at the point of crying because she's been travelling for too long, which was near 10 o'clock by now. And so anyway, we had a coffee. Brought some milk at the Kangaroo service station. Sat there, had a coffee, and then she wanted to go home. Well, going home very slow. Luckily we didn't, have any accident or anything like that. But we went like putt speed. I was driving. My wife was all relaxed. Anyway, I said to her, "Well, I'm going to go back to this other service station and just put $20 in the car." So I got back there and I saw the girl, and she saw me and she said, "Oh, I'm so glad." She said, I'm so glad that you made it. I was really concerned about you and your wife. And she said, you know, I pleaded with the policeman when he was there that he could take you to go and collect your wife because she'd been on the road and she's stuck, la 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 la. And I thought, geez, I didn't know that. And I thanked her for it. And she said, you know what, us Alabamians, we stick together in trouble. And I thought, yep, that's cool. I understand that. The other part was that, as I said before, in my other video, TracFone, when I contacted them and told them that my wife was short on minutes for her telephone, and that it was an emergency situation and that where she was and we'd been snowed, da 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 da. The girl said, wait a couple of minutes, and so she said her thing is loading, and she said I put 15 minutes on her phone, so she can make emergency calls, and if you want to take some minutes off your own telephone, just give us her, you know, SIM number pin thing, and we'll take minutes off your phone and we'll put it onto hers. So really, in my short period of time, I had TracFone that offered a blessing of 15 minutes of, you know, of emergency phone use on their minutes. I had two strangers pointing out that they would help in taking me to a destination, but the roads were really bad and I had to decline on that, which I wish I didn't. But anyway, I get to the petrol station, talked to the girl, and she didn't know, you know, she saw I didn't have a car and I was trying to get to my wife. I didn't know that she had already put a blessing in by talking to the policeman. The policeman decides to help, da 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 da, and there you go. That's a sort of a chain of events where you just been blessed. You know that you got a hand on your head. You know, I can say God, or it can just be a chain of events, and that's it. But it worked out perfect. I got to see my wife, and she went to the toilet. She hadn't been since 11, and it was nearly, as I said, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. She was just, you know. So she got home, had something small to eat, and just crashed, you know, big time. So that was my blessing for the day. After trying to sort out things to get my wife home, because when she was sent home from work, she got away from work, but it would have been dangerous to go back to work. She had flat-soled leather shoes with no grip on them, so she would have gone arse over tit walking, unless she could walk on her heels and hang on to two sticks and jam them into the ground. Or yeah, it was just one of those situations. So yeah, blessings happen, and that was my little adventure, because I'd spoken to my mother-in-law, and she was really concerned that Sandra had been on the road for too long, and la 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 also. And I said to her, you know, that I think I better go up and get her, and I'll pack a thermos and some chips and, you know, little nibblies. And she said, you know, it's a little bit dangerous to get out there. But I said, well, dangerous or not, she's my wife. I need to go and, you know, get her. And that's, sometimes you got to do these things. There was other people who I was told who had walked 6 miles home. They couldn't get home. They couldn't get up the street wherever they lived because it had an incline, or to go home, that their streets had inclines and they had to climb little hills, and there was other cars that were stuck and on ditches. And yeah, my wife, she said that at I-65 and 150, when she was going up there, a truck must have dumped a little bit of sand there, and there was Mexicans out there throwing sand on the road and under the car tyres as they were going up the incline to give them grip. And she said they were doing this with their bare hands, probably a good 6 of them or something. They were picking up the sand and going back over the bridge, throwing the sand underneath the car tyres of the people, and you know, even her car. And she said, you know, she would have been stuck there spinning, doing nothing because of the incline and the ice on the road. So, you know, she was blessed, but there was, I guess she saw a lot of blessings. She saw a lot of people fall on their ass, break their pelvis or bloody arm. But she couldn't get out and help them because she would have been in danger herself. So yeah, Bessemer Police and TracFone and people at Kangaroo Service Station, or the girl who was working there last night, she was good, and the strangers, they were just sort of my little blessing for the day.